Hey, thanks for joining me. Today we are drawing a snowflake ornament in Inkscape. I'm going to be using the Symmetry tool to show you how to do this. If you're not familiar with that, this is going to be a lesson that you don't want to miss. Just to let you know, like I said, it's going to be using Inkscape. Inkscape is a graphic software program that lets you make SVGs. So if you're a crafter, you like making SVGs, you're interested in that, you are in the right place. Let me know that you can hear me and you can see me because, it's kind of important. If this is the first time you're joining me, I'm Nottawa from Paperflow Designs, and I am a digital illustrator, and I like to draw digitally, making SVGs, and teach other people like you, probably crafters, how to make their own drawings and use them in programs like Cricut and Silhouette. So that is me in a nutshell. Let me show you what we're going to be working with. So I just use a couple of tools and supplies that are really simple. One's like a graphic tablet. You don't have to have a graphic tablet to follow along or to do this, but I use a graphic tablet. The one that I use, I think I've linked it in my email. If you're in my VIP group, you've already gotten that, and that's probably why you're here. So I thank you for that. So just to show you the one that I use, and if you're watching me today on Black Friday, they're having a sale on that. So you might want to jump on that. As well, another product that I use is the Inkscape Ready Set Go. It's an ebook and a video to show you all of the shortcuts that you can use in Inkscape. Just for me, I find it a lot quicker because I'm a girl who loves a good shortcut. It's a lot quicker when you're in there and you're drawing instead of having to go back and forth up to the menu toolbars and figure out, each step. It saves you, maybe a couple seconds on each function. And when you're drawing something that's going to be taking you a while, it's worth it. So these are all the shortcuts that I use. I put it together in an ebook. It has the Mac functions, it's got the PC functions. So whichever one that you use, you might want to check that out as well. That's also in the link. All right, let me jump right into, so I can share my screen with you. All right, so this is the snowflake ornament that we're going to be drawing. If you were with me last week, we made a mandala ornament. So basically I'm taking the same base of the ornament and we're just going to turn that into snowflake design using Symmetry. Pop that on. All right, if you do have any questions along the way, don't be shy, drop them into the comment box. Even if I don't see it right away, I do always try to loop back and see what questions or comments that people have so that I can answer them. Right, so here I am just going to start with the rectangle tools. And here, so just click on the rectangle tool and I'm just going to pull down a medium size-ish rectangle. Mine is blue because that's just a standard default color on there. Yours might be something different. It doesn't really matter because we're going to change the color anyway. I'm now wondering if my head is in the way. All right, will you let me know if that's bothering anybody, if you can't see the details? All right, so I'm just going to round out the corners, round out the edges, the top and the bottom by pulling that down slightly. All right, so I've got my first segment of the snowflake. And I'm just going to duplicate that. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, I want to say happy belated Thanksgiving to you. I hope you had a good one. Since I'm in France, we don't have Thanksgiving here, but I did talk to my family and I had like a virtual Thanksgiving, I guess you could say. I watched them prepare their food. So it was nice to see them. All right, so I've duplicated that first one and then I just shrank it down and rotated it. Let me know if you are eating your Thanksgiving leftovers today or checking out the Black Friday sales. I know my inbox is full of like good deals that are going on right now. All right, so I've selected those two first lines that I just made and just duplicated that again. And you won't see like every click and me like running back to the toolbar at the top because like I said, I use shortcuts all the time. So the shortcut for me to duplicate it is just the letter D. That's something else that I have in the shortcuts book. So I've duplicated that little small segment again and then just rotated it out. So this isn't going to be a really long, what do I want to say, like tutorial or a draw with me session, because the snowflake doesn't take that long to make, but I did want to show you this option of using the symmetry tool because it does save you time if you don't want to, draw out the whole image. The symmetry tool is a really good option to try to use. All right, I see we've got Felicia in the house. Hello. How are you doing? How was your Thanksgiving if you're celebrating Thanksgiving? I hope it was a good one. All right, so once again, I have duplicated that first segment that we used, so the one right at the top, and then I just flipped it over. All right, so now we're going to get into the symmetry part. What I like to do is always duplicate the design assets that I'm using, because in case if I lose something or if it goes wrong, let's say like I combine everything and then I change my mind later, I like to make a second copy and then put it off to the side just in case. So that's what I did there. All right, so now I have combined all those little segments that we made into one. So that was just using the Control Plus, which is a shortcut to unite your paths. And now I've opened the Path Effects menu. So this is going to be the part where we're going to be using the Symmetry tool. So I'll just use the shortcut to open the Path menu, the Path Effects menu. You can find that in the Path toolbar at the top. And then I'm going to select that side of the snowflake and then just click on the plus button, and that gives me the symmetry automatically. You see how quick that was? If you missed it, watch the replay, rewind it, but that is how simple and quick it is when you use the symmetry tool option in there. I'm still going to zoom in here and take out some of the extra nodes that I don't want. So it just gives that a more unified, rounder look. And since I've also clicked on the fuse paths, you can see on the right side of that menu, I click on the fuse paths, it's fused those two sections together. So they're actually moving as one piece now. All right, Felicia, my Thanksgiving was kind of a non-Thanksgiving because we don't have one here. But you know what? I did call my family members. I talked to my sister, my brother. They were getting ready, making their food, and like they had everything out and putting everything in the oven. So that was nice. And then I called my cousin in California, and she was getting ready too. She had like all the chafing dishes out. So even though I couldn't be there with them, it's nice that we have technology these days that you can get on a video call with them and almost feel like we're there. So that was good. So over here, I am just like tweaking those nodes just by pulling them back and forth. And whatever I do to one side is the same thing that happens on the other side because we're using the symmetry function. And that is our snowflake really quickly put together. As you can see, it probably took us, we haven't even been online, I don't know how long now, what is it, says 8 minutes? Yeah, so I think I spent like 5 minutes running my mouth in the beginning. So it probably took us like 3 minutes just to make the snowflake. So if you're making any other shape that's symmetrical, this is a really good option. This tool is a really good option for you to use. All right, so I'm just duplicating the ornament because I'm going to put the snowflake on top of the ornament like we did last week. I'm going to take out the colors, so I just crossed out the fill. The fill is just the colors that fills up the ornament. And I'm just moving it here so you can see that it is empty. There's nothing in there. And I can choose a color, a new color if I want from here. I'll just go down to the color wheel, to the color menu, choose a color. All right, I've turned that snowflake white. You don't see it now, but you will. It's at the bottom, so I have to bring it up. It's behind the ornament. I'm going to go up here and click to raise it up. There it is. So it's white. It's now on top of the ornament, and then I can shrink it down. So I place that here on the left side and duplicate that using the shortcut again. Make another one and then just move that around. I can still use that duplicate function again. Another way to duplicate something is by using the space bar. So if you're using your keyboard instead of a graphic tablet, you can use the space bar to kind of like copy and paste one design over and over again. So I'm just randomly placing this on the ornament and different sides of it. Now I can color that little metal top part. I'm gonna look for like a goldish yellow color. It's kind of bright. Go down the color wheel. And I use the gradient. You know, I love putting a gradient on something. Like I mentioned before, the gradient really isn't going to have any relevance if you are using this as a cut file. But if you're using this as a sublimation file, then I think it's a nice option to have like that, well, that gradient, to have those different colors show up. Because you know if you're doing it as a cut file, as an SVG file, it's just going to cut out that one color. All right, I'm playing around trying to get the nice goldish color that I want, but it's kind of like not really finding it. I think I should have just made a color palette. That would have been easier. But there's also times when I make color palettes and then I still go off and choose something else. I don't know. It's just like I just really get into it because it's fun to be, drawing and like get lost in it and all the different options. All right, and pull that out. And as you can see, when I move that around, it just changes the light source on there. All right, so that's good. And to make life easier for me, like I said, I love a good shortcut. I'm just gonna copy and paste that color right up to the little hook part. So that's in there. Now I'm going to put a gradient on the background color of the ornament as well. I'll choose two different blues. I've got like a teal blue and then like a darker blue in the center. And this is something that once you are done with it, you can easily cut this out on your cutting machine, put this on a t-shirt, put it on a mug, put it on a coaster, put it on greeting cards. So if you were waiting to the last minute to get out your greeting cards, this is something that you can do yourself and get out pretty quickly. All right, so I will close out the menus. I don't need those anymore. And that is our Snowflake SVG using the Symmetry Tool. All right, let me come out of there. If you missed, if you missed any parts of it, like I said, you can rewatch the video again. If you have any questions about any of the, I'm like brain fog all of a sudden. And I don't even have any turkey, so I don't have an excuse. Anyway, if you have any questions about any of the what I did in here, go ahead, leave me a comment, write me. Had a little bug for a second there, lost me for a second. Like I mentioned, if you're interested in learning more about Inkscape and about the shortcuts that I use, you can check that out in Inkscape Ready Set Go. There should be a link to find that. It's on my website at paperflowdesigns.com. That is it for today's Draw With Me. Next week will be part 3 of the 3-part series. So when I'm doing another ornament, it's going to be showing you a different technique, still using that same base ornament. So if you are not signed up in my VIP club, go over to paperflowdesigns.com, get yourself signed up. It is free. You'll be the first to know when I'm going online, when I'm going live. and you can join me. And even if you can't come live, you can always watch the replay. So thank you for joining me this Friday. It has been wonderful, and I will see you again next Friday. Bye.